Hello guys, and today is exactly 1000 days since the start of Putin's 3-day special military operation, his blitzkrieg that turned out to be a total failure. And to mark 1000 days of Ukrainian resilience, we've decided to organize some fireworks above the Russian ammunition depots. And most likely, for the first time in modern history, we've used long-range ATACMS missiles to destroy Russian missile arsenal in Bryansk. It resulted not just in serious detonations near the arsenal, but also in Russian media. They were totally unprepared to command the lift of this ban, and Putin decided to rewrite his nuclear doctrine for the second time in the recent months. And this is nothing else as an illustration of his weakness and the desire to continue threatening and bullying the world. But if we want to prevent any further escalation, if we want to prevent the Third World War, all we need is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. And we are working on that with your help. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, I'm actually in Kyiv, the heart of brave Ukraine, and I'm happy to speak about this 1000 days, actually more, of Ukrainian resilience. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to see Russia defeated. Honestly, every Ukrainian will tell you that this is not just 1000 days of Russian war against Ukraine. It is, unfortunately, much longer. Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea, Donetsk and Luhansk regions. And weak reaction of the world and Ukraine led to further escalation and Russia's plans to get more and more of Ukrainian territories and Ukrainian lives. I am sure this lesson teaches us better than anything else that unpunished evil grows. Have a look at modern Russian history and you can clearly see that in 90s they invaded Chechnya, in 2008 Georgia, in 2014 and 2022 Ukraine. This is their bad habit, and to cure it we need to use more long-range missiles. I am happy that finally the ban was lifted, and hopefully it will help us to demilitarize more of the Russian army close to the Ukrainian borders. And today another arsenal was destroyed in Bryansk region. It resulted in lots of comments by horseman Lavrov, by Kremlin gobbling Putin, but we all realize they will try to frighten people, they will try to swing opinions when it is really obvious that the only side that constantly violates all the rules and norms of life on this planet, that constantly threatens other countries, that actually proclaims war not just against Ukraine but the democratic world, is Russia. And they actually put a lot of red lines in the course of this war, starting with any foreign weapons used by Ukraine and finishing with things like you cannot target temporarily occupied territories. But look at us now. We are in Kursk. We control lots of settlements there. We have our military administration on the territory of the Russian Federation. And this is what Putin achieved during 1000 of this war. Subscribe to see the collapse of the Kremlin and the liberation of more of the Russian territories. So in Bryansk region, it was an arsenal of various artillery shells and most importantly missiles. Some of them were provided by the North Korea. North Korea is #1 supplier of Russia right now. And I think it was one of the reasons that actually persuaded our allies that Ukraine can strike back. Most importantly, it is not just the decision of the USA, it was supported by France, it was supported by the Great Britain, and we know there are some conversations between the United States and South Korea. And after this ban was lifted, it may be that South Korea will help Ukraine defeat Russia and North Korea. Because I believe South Koreans understand it really well, how important it is to defeat and demilitarize such evil authoritarian regimes. And I was actually happy to learn that South Korea is one of the top producers of weapons in the world. I did not know that, but I understand why, and I also understand it is the future of Ukraine. We were a peaceful nation. Our plan was just to live, build our own future, learn from older democracies. Russia ruined all of these plans, and right now we realize we have to be very strong militarily. This is actually one of the things that may be good not just for Ukraine, but for Europe and the world. I mean, Ukrainian experience, Ukrainian willingness to protect freedom, life, democracy, I think it's extremely beautiful and contagious to some extent. And I'm happy to learn that we build and develop more and more of our missiles. And actually, according to the plan of President Zelensky in 2025, we can produce 3,000 wing missiles. And I think it will be very beautiful when you can target Russian military objects with your own missiles, not asking for permission. And unfortunately, in this crazy world, more countries in future may need Ukrainian skills and Ukrainian missiles. But even the ones that we have, Neptune missiles, are already redesigned and can be used to target objects that Russia uses to destroy Ukrainian lives, to destroy Ukrainian infrastructure. I am sure all of you who follow Russian aggression against Ukraine have noticed that after years of Russian violence, after years of that brutality, we follow Geneva Convention, we follow rules of war, and we only choose evil military targets like arsenals, like military headquarters, like military airfields, and such strikes actually save thousands of Ukrainian lives. And I hope that more active demilitarization of the Russian Federation will follow in the next months, because this is important if we want to prevent any further escalation. It all comes from the Russian side. A beautiful reminder: Ukraine did not invade anyone. Ukraine will not give up its territories to the aggressor after all the war crimes that it committed with no reason at all. And a thing I need to repeat: no, it was not a NATO-provoked war, because first of all, you see, NATO is not aggressive at all. From my Ukrainian point of view, it's totally non-aggressive. In 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, invaded Donetsk and Luhansk region, Ukraine was totally neutral. And the only reason why Russia fears NATO in Ukraine is the understanding that the moment we are a NATO country, they cannot return us back to the monstrous reconstruction of the Soviet Union. That is their only fear. So honestly, if you want to avoid any escalation, nuclear war and so on, accept Ukraine to the NATO. And we will share lots of our expertise and skills with you. It will be a win-win situation, and Russia will slowly start collapsing, or maybe even quickly, if we take into account what's happening with their economy, what's happening with their oil refining industry. Russia is on the brink, if it's correct, on the edge of collapsing, and I hope it will happen sometime soon, accompanied by very precise strikes on its ammunition depots, military air bases, and thus making this part of the world a safer place. Once again, it's very important to remember, Ukraine did not invade anyone. Russia invaded Chechnya, Georgia, and Ukraine twice. So actually it is 3,925 days since the start of the Russian invasion that was not punished enough and was taken by Putin as an invitation to continue. And if we appease him with Ukraine, he will continue to other countries and you won't like it. Trust me, I'm Ukrainian, I know what I'm saying. And that is why, again, lots of countries that were former Soviet republics joined NATO. The Baltics. Now Finland and Sweden. Finland has a very long border with Russia. And Russia did not object because it actually does not have arguments to object. It is afraid of the NATO countries even though it says it's at war. No. And Putin does everything to threaten the world. It uses fear to manipulate. But actually, appeasement leads to escalation on the Russian side. Because Russia does not want new territories. Russia wants all of Ukraine and then all of the other former Soviet republics, and then totally changed world order, where Iran, North Korea and China dictate you not just what to do, what to buy or what to eat, but even how to live. Using our ecology, using our immigration fears, using lots and lots of other things. So the best way to prevent the Third World War, nuclear escalation, is to defeat Russia. And we are working on that in our Ukrainian way. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity and to follow the updates from my brave country. And I'm really proud of this 1,000 days of resilience, and I'm sure you have no doubt no one is going to surrender until we see the collapse of the Kremlin. And join me on Blue Sky, I'm active there. Also, I'm on Threads, on Discord, and on Instagram. I share more of my Kyiv trip there. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Check our merch shop, lots of good items are coming, and all the links that you need are in the description of this video. But most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Together, we managed to withstand 1,000 days, and I'm sure only the good things await for us in the future, and sometime soon I will invite you to safe, beautiful, free Ukrainian Kyiv. Slava Ukraini!